So today I just want to go over some longer term impressions of this Audew jump starter. I've had the chance to use this several times, mostly on the lawnmower, but this biggest gripe I have would apply, on a car, which is the connector. This is kind of hard to grab. I think the teeth don't really bite in that well, depending on how your setup is. The bigger issue is really the length of these two cables. I don't know if you can see it, but sometimes you just don't have enough reach. I think you already see that here. What will happen is as soon as you clamp on one side, the other side will pop out. The problem I mentioned before is even more apparent on this riding mower. It won't even fit on these terminals. So what I've had to do is lift the battery out a little bit and clamp onto the side of the wire, which I know is not ideal. The fitment isn't really that good in these tight areas. Not really sure if anything could be done about that. I think all these clamps are about the same, but I could be wrong. This is a new battery. I bought it, I think, last summer, so it's not that old. So the fluid is at the proper level. But as I was saying before, I actually made the mistake of not fully charging it the first time, so yeah, that is my fault. And due to the fitment, I think this caught on fire one time as I was trying to crank it. Again, it's not really the fault of the product, it's just that you can't really get a good connection on that terminal right there. But it still has been a lifesaver. Before I would have to drive my car all the way to the mower, or even worse, I would have to unplug disconnect the battery, which is a little bit more painful on this riding mower. You can't see it, but there's actually a retaining nut inside that block. So when you unplug the wire, that nut falls out, and when you reattach it, you have to find a way to prop it up to keep it from falling out. But using this, it's been a lot more convenient. I mentioned I jumped it several times, and the charge only went down maybe 3% each time, so it's definitely pretty efficient. The only other issue has been the case, surprisingly. It seems like unless you put all the wires, cables perfectly, which most people probably won't, it just won't really shut. So you have to do some Tetris on it. But overall, I'm glad I bought this. I've had a chance to use this many times already, and it definitely paid for itself in terms of convenience. I would definitely buy it again.